Next up, Rachael Ostovich versus Gina Mazany. Okay, so everyone talks about how, Rachael Ostovich is so hot and blah, blah, blah. And, sure. Her stats are actually like the same as I feel about her looks. Once again, not that looks even matter, so I don't know why people keep talking about how hot Rachael Ostovich is. It's like, who cares? That's not what we're here for. We're not judging her based on her looks. We're judging her based on her skills. So it just sucks when you hear other people making predictions or other people talking about a fighter, and then the first thing they mention is like, oh yeah, she's just good looking and that's why she's here. It's like, who cares about that? Irrelevant. Let's talk about the actual fight. Speaking of talking about the actual fights, let's talk about it. So I'm not a fan of Ostovich for the simple fact of her win-loss streak. I do agree with some of these people that say, oh, she's only in it because she's hot. I do agree that she would make a better model than a fighter, but she has chosen this game. That is her choice. And if she ever ends, fighting, she could definitely get into modeling. I don't doubt that. What really speaks out to me in volumes is the fact that her last loss and her last fight was against Paige VanZant, and she lost by armbar. Paige VanZant was 4-4, and then she went down to a bare knuckle boxing. And Paige VanZant had like 2 arm surgeries and doesn't have a great record herself. In fact, she has a better record than Ostovich, so it makes sense that she would win. But are you guys impressed by her win or her loss to Paige VanZant? Is that somebody that we would look at? No offense to Paige, because everyone loves Paige VanZant, but when I hear that, it's kind of like, I don't sit there going, well, that was against Paige VanZant. I sit there going like, meh, like, that's when you're not great. Now, when she lost against Montana De La Rosa, she was on The Ultimate Fighter. Some people don't really count The Ultimate Fighter fights. She was 2-2 in that entire series. And to be quite honest, I think I was high up on Ostovich when she was in The Ultimate Fighter. I think she looked decent back then. But then you got to think, like, she's not fighting people that were in the UFC and she was still losing. She only won half her battles there. She's not impressive. She's got a bad record. She's been submitted like twice, if not 3 times. On the other hand, she does have good grappling exchanges. She has a bit more skill probably against someone like Mazany, but we're going to talk about Mazany too, don't worry. She is 2-4 in her last 6 fights. That's horrible. Rachel's essentially been out for almost just a year. She was supposed to fight in late 2019 and then again in 2020. Both of those fights got canceled. Probably thankful, because I don't think she would beat the Shayna Dobson that just ended up shocking everyone in her last fight. But that being said, no real high hopes for Rachael Ostovich here. Let's take a look at Gina Mazzani, because I also don't have high hopes for Gina Mazzani either. She actually was let go from the UFC and then brought back. I've said this before. We've seen it. If you watch UFC often enough, you see one fighter fighting, and the next thing you see is like 3 of his other, camp or gym mates also fighting on the same card. That's not coincidence. And I also believe a lot of that has to do with, fighters promoting people in their camp or gym to try to get fights for them. In this case, I think that's what's happening with Mazzani, because I believe she is either the girlfriend of Tim Elliott. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but you guys can look that up. Tim Elliott, he's had a bit of a good, not run lately, but yeah, he's had some good fights recently and he's been fighting regularly. I think he's kind of nudged maybe Dana or the UFC to bring Mazzani back. Because Mazzani, honestly, since she was let go from the UFC, she had not looked good, right? When she was in the UFC, she lost her first fight, won her second fight, lost 2 more fights. Mind you, one of those fights was against Macy Chiasson, right? So, credit to her there, I guess. Then she won and lost again. Now, the fight that she won, this is when she got dropped from the UFC. So in 2019, she was let go for 1 fight. And she fought this chick, Valerie Barney. And they had roughly the same record. And she beat her. and then she came up to the UFC and lost again. I feel like Mazzani is on a level, like she's just not there. She's not even there to beat the decent fighters in the UFC, which is why I think Ostovich might win this. The only downside to Ostovich I see right now is I don't know where Ostovich's head is at, right? She's had a lot of problems recently, a lot of life issues, so I can't say that Ostovich is maybe a clear head or clear-minded. I can say that in this case, I'm going to give her the edge. She's in the UFC. She's fought UFC opponents more than one. You know, even coming into the UFC the first time, Mazany lost, or she only won one of her 4 fights in the UFC previous. And she lost her last bout, as I mentioned, to Julia Avila, which was her first bout back to the UFC. What makes you think she's going to win her next fight? It's not going to happen. I don't think you should bet this fight. I don't think a lot of people are going to bet this fight. But if you are going to bet it, I would go with Ostovich. As far as how she wins, let's just go with decision. Female fights, I usually go by decision, and that's exactly what's probably going to happen here.